What's up, y'all? Now we recording. What's up and wholeness to everybody. Welcome again to our first official class of the SOULar Soil Stewards. And as we began class last week, we had living libations, but today it's nice and sunny, so we're gonna have to pour our libations right here in front of us. So I ask y'all all to join me as we give our thanks and welcome our ancestors into this space and ask them to sanctify this space, okay? Allow everyone who has any kind of technological troubles, let it all be washed away. Let them find their way into this space so they can get this goodness. So, ashe on that one.
Yeah.
But first, giving thanks and praises always to Neverjur, the highest high, the utmost, the divine with a capital D. As always, duas, thanks and adorations. And as I pour these libations, feel free to call out the names of your ancestors and welcome them into this space. And as I do so, oh yes, bring that sistrum in. Yes, Mama Boozy. Yes, Ancho. Yes, Grandma Jenny. Oh, dua. Hitep, and hitep. Asheo.
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 All right, y'all. So this is our first class, and I figured we would go through. Wait a minute, click on the right stuff, Safan. Okay, hold on. There we go. We will go through some basic terminology, some basic things that our plants need, and some basic supplies, because I know everybody is pretty much ready to get shopping, or well, I call it commandeering. So, you know, we find stuff everywhere. Can a plant use it? I'm gonna use it, okay? So that's what we're gonna go over today on our little horizon. Oh, where's my mouse? Come on, computer. Stop playing with me. What's it doing? Are y'all seeing the next slide? No, but it's okay. We're gonna work this out. Look, do I unpoo? Do I wet what? For those of you, I think everybody on the call knows who I am. But in case there's somebody new in the space, welcome. I am Stefan Pickett, the founder of Royal Reset and soil steward of Good Gardens and Farm in Accokeek, Maryland. I'm an African traditional farmer, so totally beyond organic. And some of the other endeavors, they really blend all in with each other when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it. I'm also a nutrition educator, an herbalist, a massive major advocate for health, wellness, especially mental health and natural health. And I am an activist. So community movements, that's the way we do things, right? And as I talked to you guys last week about my philosophy, if we start with a healthy soil, we can build a healthy body. We build a healthy body that makes space for a healthy mind. Right. And once you have a healthy mind, it is impossible to not know thyself. All right? So yeah. That is my little philosophy on life. Then let's get straight into it. All right, so the intent of this group, as we all know, is to create our own gardens, our own spaces in the soil, so that we can create a bit of a community sharing dynamic, right? So we want to each begin to garden and farm and learn how to grow in our individual spaces so that we will no longer be subservient to big box stores and, you know, general society as it will. We will be in control of what we eat and in control of what we put in our bodies, and thereby maintain control over our bodies, mind, and true self. So some of these things might sound a little bit familiar about what we need, you know, as far as what plants need. I want to see if y'all pick up what is similar to. So plants, first of all, definitely need an energy source. And that's either going to be the sun or it's going to be artificial lighting for our purposes. Then, of course, you need moisture. And our source of moisture is going to be water, however we get it to our plants. Then the host, which is the actual genetic material of the plant that you choose to grow. It may come from a seed. It may come from a rhizome, which would be like garlic or ginger. Well, not really garlic, turmeric or ginger. Or it can be from a cutting. So like, for example, if I wanted to propagate this aloe plant, I just cut off a piece of the top, stick it in some dirt, and take care of it for a little while and hope that it roots itself. Same thing that people are doing with their food in the grocery store. They're taking the bottoms of things like celery, lettuce, and sticking it in water and letting it reroot. So that technically will be called a cutting. And then they need a home. So you got different kinds of homes that you can grow plants in. You can do traditional farming like we do, which is in the soil. Then there's hydroponics that come in the water. Then there's plants that naturally take to dry, sandy, rocky terraces so they can grow on rocks. I mean, even we see what weeds are out there, they grow in the cracks of rocks. And then there's also air plants, which I still haven't figured out exactly how all those work. I'm curious, but I got enough going on to deal with air plants, but they're kind of awesome. They're usually really, really, really tiny. Give me 1 second. So wait a minute. Y'all say, here, kitty, go outside. Sorry, y'all. Y'all say, wait a minute, something is missing. Because usually, you know, the first thing you think about or you hear when everybody's talking about planting and stuff like that is, oh, fertilizer this and where's the nutrients that, right? So you would think nutrients would be missing. But in my philosophy, I consider nutrients as part of the soil. So there is a major interweb that happens between the microbiota that's in the soil, the small living organisms that's in the soil, the minerals that are in the soil, the water that's in the soil, the air, all of that forms this huge world, if you will, right? Just like we were talking about a second ago, right? Energy, moisture, host, and a home. Nutrients make up this world below the surface of the earth. So have y'all made the connection to what this kind of sort of sounds like? Just anybody jump on in there.
The cycle of life, like beginning to the end circle. I mean, I'm reading it, but I also know about it.
That's right. The cycle of life, ourselves. Don't we need an energy source? Isn't one of the primary parts of our body water, moisture?
Right.
We have genetic material to host this divine being inside of us, right? And then we have a home. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
So when we think about nutrients, you know, they're part of your home. They're part of the things that you bring into your home to make everything in your life go. Okay, so if we feed the soil is going to feed you, right? So the plant's job is really just to be an intermediary, if you will, between the world below the surface and the world above the surface. Okay, so my note on conventional methods, I am a little bit of what Master Chef called me a purist. I'll take that. Because conventional methods of farming where you take a plant, you see some dirt. I'm not even gonna call it soil because it's dead. You take some dirt and you throw nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium we eat potato chips, right? The plants is like, all right, I could do some work, but I need some water. So you have to water them to death. So those methods are not sustainable. Nothing on this earth was designed to constantly always have to be immediately tended to. There's nothing in nature, there's no cycle in nature that constantly needs an input. Even inside of our bodies, we have systems in our bodies that store things. We have systems in our body that say, oh, I need some, so they signal something else to say, okay, let's make some more of this, right? And then we have systems in our body that say, we got enough, so let's just get rid of that. Well, that's the same thing that happens in oil. I don't think science, I won't say we, because we understand it differently, but science doesn't fully understand exactly how the world underneath the soil works, but they know there's some more down there going on than nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So conventional methods we staying away from because they're not sustainable. They always require energy, constant input, and you get a substandard product. So what we deal with is traditional African organics, which bring back the science of nature. Matter of fact, I was having a discussion this week with a gentleman in Kenya, and I'm really impressed by what he's got going on there. I've been kind of digging in the books, and the interwebs for the African origins of what I'm going to talk about next. If you see on the bottom, IMO, indigenous microorganisms. So, I watched a couple of his videos and I was like, oh my goodness. when the student is ready, right? I was like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And they're literally using indigenous microorganisms, which indigenous means if I'm here in Maryland, we have a kind of biological schema, certain levels of this, certain levels of that. They all kind of just get along together. They keep each other in check, none outgrows each other. They signal us when something is wrong, so you'll see something different. You'll see something going on. You'll see something not thriving as well when you know that your flora is off, just like in the body. When you're dealing with like candida, yeast infections, things like that. E. coli, same exact way it works. So when I talk about indigenous microorganisms, our indigenous would be the things that are around here in like Maryland, DC, Virginia. So the Kenyan indigenous microorganisms would be the ones that over in Kenya, but we still use them the same way. We still use the same concept. So it's a matter of actually harvesting them from the wild in a couple of different techniques and making them into a form that our plants can use right away. So nutrients, fertilization, all of that stuff must be part of the soil, not just something we always put in. It has to work with the entire schema, okay? Is everybody following me with that?
Yep. Makes sense.
All right.
Very
So,
holistic.
What is soil? So really, it's our main objective is really, where's my picture? You know what? Something is not right. All of my pictures are gone. Yeah, something's up. Okay, well, hold on a second, guys. I have another idea, because that's not gonna work. Nope. Why is it not doing what I need to do? Okay, so how do I get this? I'm so sorry, you guys. Canva let me down. It might be my internet too. All right, so let's try a different share. Share. There goes the picture. Boom. Yeah, so that was the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. So you see the difference in this image with synthetic fertilizers, they feed the plant. And this actually happens. You will actually see this. You can do this test yourself over the course of this season, where you take the same plant and you use synthetic fertilizers, and you'll see that the roots only stay pretty much at the surface. They never develop thick taproot. They just kind of spread and try to stabilize itself. But when you use organic fertilizers and you see how the nutrients really are feeding the microorganisms, and the microorganisms are feeding the plant. You see that big, huge, super huge taproot? Big difference. Big difference in growth, big difference in quality. Okay, yeah. So, is it gonna go? There we go. Okay, now, yay. Now you can see it. So what is soil? Our main objective, 100%, is to protect and heal, that's supposed to say heal, the soil. So a short definition, soil is a mixture of minerals and then dead and living organisms, which is organic materials. That's from here on out, when we say organic materials, it means either dead or living organisms, and that includes plant matter and insects, microbes, whatever it is. Then you have air, and then you have water. This is a very short definition, and we will have a separate discussion in our soil class. But if you look at the picture to the left, look at the percentages. The majority of our soil is minerals, okay? The majority of what we need to make our body work is minerals, okay? Then you've got air, space, and water in equal proportion. And then there's another slice for organic material. So in this organic material section, this is where compost would fall. So when you think about what you're adding into your soil, remember this little pizza pie slicey thingy. And keep that percentage in mind when you're adding things, to realize that what you're adding is only changing that little bit of the soil, okay? So really you wanna make sure that it's high quality material that has lots and lots of minerals or lots and lots of water, okay? Now next, wait a minute. Oh, this is not gonna work. Y'all can't see it. Can y'all see the bottom of this?
We see it.
Y'all see it? Okay.
Organic.
Okay, good. There we go. Okay, so this is one term that is used, overused, incorrectly used, but we're gonna straighten it out today. So organic, there's three separate definitions that I pulled off the interwebs. The first one is relating to or derived from living matter. That is what I consider one of the best, because it's so broad, definitions that the interwebs tends to put out. Second definition, relating specifically to what we're doing, is produced or involved in the production without the use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, or artificial agents. Now, this definition is where the word organic started. It is not where it is now, by far. The word organic has been co-opted and stretched and pulled, and it's upside down now, because there are a lot of certified organic at that. Certified organic farms, certified organic products that are using chemicals, pesticides, and other artificial agents. So what definition you may see in big box stores when you are out shopping, which is what I think most of us are going to go do this week, when you see in big box stores and you're looking at products, in particular the soil that you may buy or the compost that you may buy, because your compost pile might not be ready yet, it's gonna follow this definition. Relating to or denoting compounds containing carbon. So basically, any living matter contains carbon. So they're erasing this second definition here, and they're like, well, I can still call it organic. I can write organic on the package because it's compounds containing carbon, and it came from something that used to be alive, so I'm gonna call it organic. That is what you're gonna see in the stores. But what we're doing is we're going way past organic. Wait a minute. Oh, that's backwards. Okay, so understanding a little bit of the hype. So when you see the word organic written on any package without the word certified, on labels in regards to gardening products, there is zero assurance. That means absolutely nothing. It just came from something that used to be alive. So those products, even though it says organic, may still contain pesticides, may still contain herbicides, possibly have GMO derivatives, especially the way that our country uses corn and corn products. It hits every industry. So just because it says the word organic does not make it the definition that we are looking for. In regards to food products, now, the word organic does contain some assurances, but only in that the materials and the chemicals that they do use came off a pre-approved list. Or, which this exception, loophole, man, they love to use that loophole. The loophole is they can also justify why they have to use something potentially harmful. So they could literally say, well, I couldn't find the organic version, or especially now, well, the chemical that I need that's on the list is not being imported into the United States now, so I have to use what's available. And then they can use whatever, they still have to get it approved, but it's still something that we don't want in our food. So it's some assurances, but not total. So now here, I'm gonna check for understanding. What does everybody understand about this so far? Because this is a very, very important, critical concept.
But my person understands that organic ain't shit these days. We used to think it was some shit. We were so proud. I've been organic for a while. Organic ain't shit.
It's not. It's not. They have
But nonetheless, that's just my personal take on it.
Yeah, they have co-opted the word to the utmost.
Yeah. If my person wasn't voting, we'd be selling our feelings right now, putting this trust in them. But nonetheless, we understand. And just take matters into our own hand. We got this. Give thanks for our purist.
Here we go. Have some holy basil. So now we can move to the certified organic or certified naturally grown. So these terms have, again, assurance, similar to the concept where we dealt with their food. So of course, materials and chemicals must be on a pre-approved list, or they need to justify why they must use something potentially harmful. But let me give you a very, very, very good example. And I'm sorry if this bursts everybody's bubble, but it's my job when it comes to stuff like this. So how many of us like strawberries?
Yeah, they're okay.
I really love strawberries.
Right?
Somebody
Real strawberries.
Real strawberries, right?
Yes. None of what we see at the grocery stores.
Mm-hmm. So when I went to the grocery store a while back, I saw organic strawberries on the shelf, kind of sort of, because I don't usually see those a lot down there. So I was surprised. I was like, ooh, let me grab those. So I looked at the price, and the price for the regular strawberries is like $2.89, and it was like buy one, get one, right? And then the price for organic strawberries is like $4 something just for one package. So I was like, these better be worth it. Then a couple of weeks later, I had a discussion. It was a webinar, and we were talking about pesticides, and it wasn't an organic class. It wasn't a community that was dedicated to pesticide free, no-till, or anything like that. So these were like I was in the conventional crew for the day, right? So they started talking about their strawberry farm, and I was like listening, and I'm like, wait a second. So this is what they're allowed to do. You can start a plant, you know, in like the little jiffy pots, you know, this plant starts, right? You start a strawberry plant in that. It does not have to be any kind of certified organic product that you start the plant in. Then, by law and by the certification bodies, they're allowed to take pesticides and go spray the land with it, where they're gonna plant the strawberries. But the strawberry's not there yet, right? So they're allowed to go spray the land with that they're about to plant these strawberries in. So they can spray herbicides, which kill plants, and they can spray pesticides, which kill bugs, right? Then 2 weeks they wait, 2 weeks. And now they can take this strawberry plant and put it in the ground where they put pesticides and herbicides on, right? Grow it, spray it one last time before they harvest it, and still pop an organic label on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, y'all. But there is, unless you grow it yourself, there's no such thing as an organic strawberry, because they're all doing it. It's standard practice, which is really, really
That's
disappointing.
crazy.
It's horrible.
Definitely.
Like, we think we're paying a premium. We're paying nearly twice as much, you know, to get something that's wholesome, that's good food. And they're pulling an okie doke over us. So somebody, I hope, is planning on growing strawberries, because I would really like some strawberries this year. Just anybody? But with certified organic and certified naturally grown, small and medium farms use the certified naturally grown label because it's cheaper certification. So when you're dealing with local farms, you have a better chance to have somebody actually stick to the truism of the definition than if you were to buy something at a big box store. So I know there's quite a few farms out here that are certified naturally grown, and they use fully organic processes. Like, they don't take any shortcuts. So, but it takes knowing your farmer to know those kind of things. You know, you have to, and they're open to developing relationships. You know, you can have conversations all the time over email, over text message, over Instagram, over Facebook. You just reach out to them. They're really nice people. So
Savannah, who are they?
The local,
What
our local
farms are
farmers.
they? That are really growing organic.
I'm glad you made it on. I was looking out for you. So the local farms that I enjoy hanging with, like the farmers, they're really cool people. We have two in this area specifically. I know in DC, you guys know 3 Part Harmony Farm.
Harmony Farms. I've heard of them.
Yeah, I will feed my babies their food. And then the other one is Deep Roots, and both of them are owned by Black. I think 3 Part Harmony is actually a Black woman too, but I know Deep Roots is definitely Black female owned. And they do have a CSA. Say again?
I said, yeah, I was just agreeing. 3 Part is a Black woman who runs that.
There we go.
Would you repeat the name of the one that the brothers just mentioned? Our master, Ashap? Ashap?
Dr. Yu.
I think that was Dr. Yu, but it's 3 Part Harmony.
Mm-hmm.
3 Part Harmony and
3 Part Farming?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm typing it in the chat too, so maybe it'll show up if you can see the chat.
3 Part Harmony and Deep Roots Farm.
Yeah, they collaborated.
I see it. Okay. 3 Part Harmony. Mm-hmm. And these are all Black farmers.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There's quite a few more out here. I can work on a a list. I haven't actually written that down in the list yet. It might be time to do that.
Cool.
Okay,
My
thank
person
you
saw a post,
both.
may have been from Canton. We thought we saw a post from either you or Canton that listed the black farmers in the area on the health page or something, collective health initiative, something like that, a while back, a few weeks ago.
But there's say again. My internet connection is unstable. Master A-Chef, you were saying something?
Oh, my person was just thinking out loud. It thought it saw, thought your person, either Canton, had put a listing on the internet, on Facebook about a list of black farmers in the area.
Oh yeah, I know that article that you're talking about. Yeah, I definitely,
Yeah.
I can repost that. But that just,
Cool.
well, I mean, it's a good list. Doesn't include everybody. There's another undercurrent out here that is quiet as kept. We out here, y'all.
Yeah. The peer.
yeah. You know, matter of fact, actually, we might actually take a group trip. That might be a group trip that we go down to see the aunties, to go see so it's technically not, they don't like it when you call it the Tubman Farm, but that's how we know it. So if y'all saw the Harriet Tubman movie, the farm where she rescued her father from was over 200 acres. And there are now 2 Black stewards of a portion of that 200 acres that are actively farming it as we speak. So I'm sure they would welcome us coming to see and be nosy again, because I think they enjoy company. And yeah, that would be amazing to go see. Yeah, so we might have to take a group trip out there to go see them. But I got a whole bunch of slides and I'm falling behind time because I'm talking too much. All right, so soil, wait a minute, is it soil?
Question.
What?
This is off the subject, but the sister just called in. She didn't register, but she wanted to know if the call is still going on. She wanted to come in, but she didn't register. She said she didn't have an issue registering or something.
Yeah, so registration closes, I think it's like an hour and a half before class starts. So she's gonna have to catch the next class.
Okay.
I may put up a way to get the replays, but I haven't figured all that out yet.
Gotcha.
One thing at a time.
Gotcha. Cool.
Okay. All right, so now we have
Yep.
our soil and our products, because you guys are gonna want to get to shopping. So wait a minute, is that really? No, I think I put them out of order. Okay, so when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, Miller's, or I hope y'all don't go to Miller's. I had a lot of bad experiences there and I have a sneaking suspicion, but in any case, you're gonna see lots of things that say soil and lots of things that say mix with various words before it. So the differences between things that most of the time, all of it is marketing, but the difference in the actual contents of the bag, if you see something that says topsoil, we don't want that. It's just dirt. It is not alive. It is devoid of all of anything biologically active. And it has to be brought back to life. That is possible, but it's really just filtered. And it's definitely only meant to be used in the ground. If you were to put that in a pot, in any kind of container, it would get super hard, it would crust over, it would look like Ashy Larry. So we don't want to buy topsoil. What we do want to buy is raised bed mix. It has, definitely has that, remember that little slice of the pie, the organic matter? But if you open the bag and it's all wood chips, take it back. Because it shouldn't be all wood chips. It should be partially broken down, kind of sort of composted, like hodgepodge of life in there. You're actually, when you lay it down, in a couple of weeks, you may see mushrooms pop out of it. You may see little microbes and things popping out of it. a lot of times, especially around this time of year when it's so moist outside in general, you do get a little bit of a white fly issue, but I have a solution for that, and it's a simple solution. And we'll get to that when we get to actively planting, because I will show you. But raised bed mix is meant for containers. It's meant for containers to use both inside and outside. So if you're building a raised bed box, if you're gardening in a shoe, if you're gardening in a shoebox, we're gonna use raised bed mix. And I do have a handout to give to everybody to take with them. Come on, thingy. Okay, there we go. So the frequently asked question, why can't I just dig the dirt outside? Well, it's gonna do this. Somebody had a question? No? Okay. So you can, but it's destructive. It's gonna kill the soil, and then you're just gonna have topsoil again. So when you break up the soil into webs, you're literally killing the soil, like in every sense of the word. And what you're gonna end up with is something that's gonna be crusted over, just like Ashley Larry again. So if you're gonna go outside and dig dirt from outside, then you have to add organic matter. So leaves, wood chips, table scraps, you have to add something in it that's biologically active to bring it back to life. And you're gonna have to deal with a lot of weeds too. So you can if you want to, but I don't suggest it. So these two logos are the most important for our purposes in regards to soil and any product that we buy from anybody. So even though we know it doesn't really have that many assurances, it's more than not. We know that it's not gonna have much. It may have one little thing in there, you know, but certified organic when we're dealing with potting soil, when we're dealing with any potential fertilizers, in case somebody may have some soil that really needs some help immediately, because things take time to break down. So, you know, your first year, who knows what we're gonna need. But under all circumstances, they must be listed.
For organic use.
OMRI stands for the Organic Materials Review Institute. And they're the people that make the list of the products that people that are certified organic can use. So any product that we buy out of the store, if it says OMRI, we know that it's all on that list. Are y'all following?
No, would you repeat that? Because we were just wondering what that meant.
Got you. So the one on the right, the black one on the right, OMRI, for organic use. It says OMRI listed for organic use. That is an organization called the Organic Materials Review Institute. Okay. They're the people that create the list of things that the people on the left can use to still call themselves organic.
Okay. Thank you.
That work? Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that we buy, I mean, raised bed mix, even if it's neem oil, if you decide to buy that out of the big box store and, you know, not use by itself. I use it by itself, but I have purchased it before I knew I could do it by myself. So I get it.
Use neem oil by itself?
Yeah, on my plants, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I just did.
So you don't dilute it or anything? You put it on?
Definitely dilute it. It goes into water.
Okay.
And I spray my leaves with it after it rains. Well, we'll go through all that. But neem oil is great. That's a class in it itself. Pests.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, anything that we purchase, especially if you are considering participating in a produce share, has got to have OMRI label on it. If you can't find something and you need it, call me. before you buy anything that doesn't have that label on it, because I guarantee you I can find a solution that does have that label on it or that comes from home, so we know what's the deal with it, okay? So, all right?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Good. So, see, I did that backwards. I definitely did that backwards. So, okay, so the other thing that you're gonna see on, well, that's showing up now on seed packets is this non-GMO project verified thing. And that stands for non-genetically modified organism. Okay?
No miracle, bro.
Oh no. Whatsoever!
Yeah, okay.
I was about to ask you about Miracle Grow.
Everybody bad.
Good. Everybody is trying to use and Miracle Grow got hip too. They were like, oh, y'all wanted to say organic? So they made an organic product. We're not using that. No. It is straight chemical. No Miracle Grow. Give it to your neighbors or your friends. Or just like let that stuff go. And we don't need it. What we do, the way that we do it, you don't need Miracle Grow. It's not, Miracle Grow is not going to give you nutrition. Miracle Grow is going to give you big, swole up plants that look pretty. But when you bite into them, they're going to be devoid of the type of flavor that we get when we garden organic.
Okay.
And I know Master A-Chef, he knows,
Yeah.
see? Some greens, y'all.
Yeah, it's a difference. The difference.
And all he's used is compost, cocoa coir, and a bucket.
Okay.
So
Okay.
patience and a lot of love. All right, so no Miracle Grow. I don't care if it says organic or has this army label on it. We're not using Miracle Grow, okay? So, oh, yeah, there goes my example. So I wanted us to practice really quick. Oh, maybe I can zoom. Okay, so
Seen that.
this Harvest Organics,
Hmm.
when I do my containers, this is the exact bag that I get. I love their product. I've never had any harmful chemicals or any organisms or fungus or any kind of weird stuff come out of their bags. And I've even managed to purchase it in the middle of the winter when usually the bags get kind of gross. And I've still had good success with it. So I do really recommend Harvest Organics. But I wanted us to practice reading the label. So remember when I said they write organic on a lot of stuff, but it doesn't really necessarily mean anything? This is what I mean. So when they say natural and organic in this manner, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, except that it came from a living thing. What means something is, matter of fact, I think I can zoom it down. What means something is this OMRI label that's down here. Y'all see it?
It's on the back. I see it.
Yeah.
On the right
Right
hand.
side, bottom.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the organization that.
Right. And on y'all handout, it's gonna say that. It's gonna show you what label to look for, so y'all don't have to like go nuts remembering. Black cow manure. Oh, this is not. I just realized this was. So usually on the top of this, the ones that you'll see at Lowe's, it says organic right off across the top of this. I put the wrong picture. It usually says organic right here or organic cow manure. That wouldn't mean anything. Now we have a product from the same company as Harvest, as this one, Harvest Organics, right? It's the same company. You see the same logo, compost and manure, but we don't see any OMRI label. So we would not be buying either one of these things.
So we don't buy anything that does not have the OMRI label on it.
Right.
Okay.
You got it.
I got a question about the cow manure. We got the Agricultural Research Center right up the road there, and they give you all the cow manure you want. At least they used to. So can one use fresh cow manure, or does it have to be dehydrated or whatever? That's my
Okay,
question.
very good question. So, Department of Ag makes me nervous. Sometimes they do really, really right, but they are very heavy on pesticides with most of their projects. So I would not personally use any of their products, even if it was free. Not on products I was going to eat. But in effort to talk about cow manure, all manure needs to be composted or aged, if you will, before you use it. Otherwise, it's too hot. It's what's called too hot, and it will burn your plants. Yeah. So cow manure takes a year. Excuse me. Chicken manure, I've seen people get away with 6 months. Horse manure definitely takes a year. I've seen people use goats and chicken, the little itty bitty animals. I've seen people get away with less using, aging it for less time, but using less of it. So, you know, just be careful. And then another thing I wanted to point out on these bags was these 3 numbers. And I forgot to include the slide, so my apologies.
Right.
So these 3 numbers are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Okay.
N, P, and K.
All right.
For green leafy stuff, which is most of the stuff that we're all going to be growing, especially for the start of a plant's life, nitrogen is the majority of the mineral that we're going to be paying the most attention to, because we want it to grow big, nice, leafy, you know, get it a good start. But then when it starts to fruit, so meaning if you have a tomato, when it starts to produce tomatoes, when you have a beet, when it starts to begin to produce a beet, we want to chill out with the nitrogen, and we want to focus more on the potassium and the phosphorus, as well as other minerals.
Is that because it's producing its own nitrogen?
No, it's because the plant will focus on nitrogen, period, and it will just go nuts with leaves. That's just what they do. They're like, I got nitrogen, I'm gonna make some more leaves. I don't care what else is there. I see nitrogen, I'm gonna make leaves. It's kind of simple. It's like us and sugar. Kinda.
Indeed. Yeah, my person can relate to that sugar.
All right. Like, you can see all kind of good stuff sitting out there on that table, but pass me them cookies. Right? So, but regardless, whenever we're looking at fertilizers, we do like to see low numbers. So, yeah, these are both 0.5, 0.5. You'll see artificial stuff will be like 10, 10, 10, or 10, 7, 10, 20, 20, 20. That's straight salt and it's gonna burn your plants. So we like to see low and slow. Okay, the whole idea with fertilization is low and slow. All right. Okay. So, oh, that's right. I was gonna. Do y'all see a website?
Yeah, Lowe's.
Lowe's,
Charles County Lowe's.
$8.98 exclusive.
Yes. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit, in case you start looking online before you go to the store, where you can double check to make sure something is OMRI certified. So, where is it? Specifications. So you see I'm scrolling down into specifications. Lowe's does the same thing, and Home Depot definitely does the same thing. And it'll say OMRI listed. And you got your check mark. And this one contains a little bit of fertilizer. Really is the composted material, recycled forest products. That just means leaves and sticks and stems and all kind of stuff. But yeah, the OMRI listed will be here, and there's either going to be a check or there's going to be an X. Now let's see if I can get y'all back to where I was. So what is this? Let's minimize that. I don't think that's where I was. Then y'all see black cow?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In and out. Yeah, Black Cow on the
Okay.
internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I know my internet is going in and out. I'm sorry, y'all.
You know, I would say I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. You see Omri listed here?
Yes.
Got that.
But there's so it's not omni listed. Does the X mean that it's not omni listed?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the check,
Exactly.
right? Check.
So we want green checks, no black X's, unfortunately. Wish we could reverse that trend, but you know.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I understand for like the vegetables and food that it must be omni listed, but I also saw for flowers, is it okay like to use it for flowers? Cause you know.
So I eat my flowers. I grow flowers that I can eat. So
I got you, but I'm just saying, well, I got it. But I'm saying like, I'm just using an example. I remember my mother used to always grow flowers all spring and summer. And she didn't check for that. Of course, she didn't know about that or whatever. But I'm just saying, can you use the other one for flowers? I know for me, I'm going to use what you say, what's already listed, because I'm going to be eating my stuff. But
so I'll give you this case scenario. Okay. So person lives in a HOA location in a townhouse. And this HOA sprays pesticides. So a person decides I'm gonna grow in containers. So I'm gonna keep my containers away from any of the areas where they may be spraying. I'm gonna try to protect them as much as I can from any kind of wind drift. And that's gonna be my food space, right?
mm-hmm.
But in the front yard, where I know they're at, I'm planting flowers. I'm not growing in the ground, and they spraying stuff on the ground anyway.
Right.
I can't say no to that. I can't say don't use Miracle Grow in that situation because that's
right.
what they're using anyway.
That's what they're using anyway. Right.
But if you got a situation where you growing in the ground and you want to plant flowers in the ground, that doesn't work well.
I got you. I understand. I got it.
All right. So I hope you found a happy place for your flowers.
No, I was just thinking about my mother, how she grew all this stuff. And well, my father was from the country, so he grew very natural stuff, greens, kale, and he grew totally in the ground. My mother was in beds, like little flower beds you get from Home Depot or whatever. So thanks for letting me know the difference. I see it now.
Boom. All right, so I'm really driving this point home, like really driving this point home. So some other stuff that we are just not gonna use. Miracle Grow and Weed and Feed, and this was my picture of the Miracle Grow Organics. This one actually has the Omri label on it when you go to the store. You can't see it in the picture, but it's actually on the bag. So, but we're not, if it says that, we're not using it. And then there's some liquid stuffs and Weed and Feed and all kind of stuff. Any kind of chemical liquids, powders, or sprays. Job's Organics, another example of where they write the word organic, but it's not certified organic. It's just derived from something living. This one even has biosome in it, which means they add microbes in it that they deactivate. But it doesn't have an Omri label on it, so we're not going to use it in the garden. Then alongside some natural inputs that we're not going to use for very specific reason. What I have pictured here is peat moss. So I'm sure if you buy, I didn't delete that thing. Oh my goodness, I was rushing through this PowerPoint. I know when you go buy plant starts, You see the little white ballies in the soil along with it.
Yeah.
That's perlite. And vermiculite is the other one. Both of those are derived from some volcanic process. But all three of these are just not environmentally sustainable. Peat moss has actually become detrimental. Peat moss is grown and harvested in the northern climates where it's cold. Think like Ireland, Canada, Prince Edward Island, things like that. And it has actually started to seriously affect the environment. So we're not going to be using any of these three just because of the impact that their harvesting and our constant use of it has been causing. We do have a great substitute though, something that we all probably use. Okay, go to the next. There we go. And I don't know guy. So our substitute for the vermiculite, the perlite, and the peat moss would be coco coir. So we have everybody's out here drinking coconut milk and getting their electrolytes all in and feeling good and refreshed and stuff like that. Well, what happens to the coconut after we're done? Well, the community has managed to figure out a way to use it. And we throw it into our soil to help retain moisture and to also give space for air to circulate. Who's talking? I hear you. Question? No question? Okay.
What you say?
What did you throw in?
The coconut shell.
The shell itself.
Mm-hmm.
Ground up coconut shell. They grind it up and they press it into a block, and they press out all the moisture. When you pour a little bit of warm water on this, that block will expand to about like one of those big, the tote box tubs. They'll expand to about that much material. So it's a lot. Hold on, I see a question. Oh, yeah, wow, I was right. Yeah, so we're gonna use coco coir. So now this is where I allow a lot of wiggle room. And this is primarily because coco coir and the companies that make coco coir are very slow to get organic certification. They are out there. It is possible. In fact, this is one that I found on Amazon specifically that was OMRI certified, even though it doesn't say it on the label, and that's because they just got their certification. So and peat moss, vermiculite, and perlite, you're not going to see OMRI certification on any of those either. So this is one product specifically that I will definitely allow wiggle room because of how effective it is, how useful it is in moisture retention, and the likelihood that the pesticides are getting up there in that tree. Come on, y'all. I don't know. Some may think different, but I don't mind coco coir not being certified organic. So what Master A-Chef was doing, and that's actually if y'all remember the picture of the farm from before that we just put with all those bales of hay, the hay is technically right here. So this is what it looked like, 4 months ago? And this is very shortly after our mushroom compost delivery. We had a huge tractor trailer. Now that pile is about right here. A little bit left, so it's quite a bit of it. So we use in both containers and in the ground, this is our mix. We use mushroom compost, worm castings, which the other name of that is called vermicompost, which you will also see at the big box stores. It's really, really easy to do your own, which we're going to talk about that in our composting class. It's one of my favorite ways to compost. Is to use worm castings. And it's
worm castings. What exactly are worm castings?
That's the
worm poo. That's all it is.
But I didn't hear that.
worm
It's worm poo.
Oh, worm feces?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And
very nutritious.
and where do you get that?
So I have found it both online. I found it in Lowe's. I found it in Home Depot in a yellow bag. It's usually over by all of the fertilizers.
Okay.
And if they have it, it'll be like 3 bags on the shelf, but it's there. So.
Okay. They don't have it in abundance.
No, because people don't realize how good it is. Everybody's not hip yet.
Yeah.
Why don't they call it worm manure? Because they don't think worms are like mammal animals, I think. I don't know, Dr. Yu.
I see.
That's the industry. Would I buy it if it was called worm manure? Would I pick that bag up? I don't know.
Probably not.
But I sure enough love making it now, though.
Okay.
So so we got mushroom compost, worm castings, mixed with a little cocoa coir. And if I'm going in a container or I have a spot that needs a little bit of help, I'm gonna put some raised bed mix with it. You guys will probably be using mostly raised bed mix. There is another company, the bag is pink and yellow. And I read the bag, I like what the label says, but I've had a very, very difficult time with them. I've gotten all kind of bacterial weirdness coming up out of it. When I opened the bag, I was like, I don't like how this smells, and I took it back. So I tried, one bag to see if I would be okay with it, but I just didn't like it. So I stick with the blue Harvest Organics raised bed mix. If you're in a store and you're not sure what to get, take a picture of it, shoot it to me by text. I will let you know what I think about it, and then you can make your educated decision. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Oops.
But it's a rich, that pile that you have there is just so rich looking. With the hay, is that hay mixed with soil?
So technically it is spent hay from growing mushrooms, which that's another project that we will shortly be taking on once I get enough of the equipment. So they grow the mushrooms in hay, and then they take that hay and they mix it with cow manure from a certified organic farm.
I see. Mm-hmm.
And that sits for a year, and that's what we get.
And
Yeah.
How can we get some of that?
And you use that as fertilizer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I heard you, Mr. Ollie, back there.
Yeah.
So I have to purchase that wholesale.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can and I will, but I'm not sure at this time of year if they have any left. If enough people show interest, I can potentially work on a short load, like a small one. The load that I got there, that was a tractor trailer big load.
Wow.
Yeah. So I can work on, I can call and ask them if enough people show interest, but they don't sell like bag by bag.
We'll be interested.
Okay, I know to keep y'all definitely up on the list. We'll see.
Okay.
Whatever Joe will provide. All right, so wait, where are we? Okay, so seeds. So this is the next thing. This is the other hot topic. So everybody, we looked at that little bitty label that said, hold on, I got a question. Interested. Miss Porter, all right. So we looked at that label from before. This non-GMO project verified. We're starting to see them on a lot of the seed packets and things like that now, right? So I hate to break it to you, but it is illegal to sell GMO seeds to the general public. So what they're putting that sticker on is because people are concerned with it, and it's a marketing ploy. But you will never see, well, I can't say never because they do crazy stuff. But at this present time, it is not legal for any store or even any farm or reseller to purchase GMO seed for sale to the general public.
Mhm.
So the deal with GMO is the grower will have a contract with a pharmaceutical lab. Okay? It's not even like grower to grower or anything like that. It's actually a contract with a lab. And their contract says you will sow this seed and you will come back and purchase seed from us again next year. And you will, even if you get seed to save from this, you will destroy that seed because it's our patent.
Right.
So there's no way these companies would risk their patent pretty much losing their patent by selling to the public, because you can't control what everybody does in their individual households. What they do with commercial farms is farm A might be here and farm B might be here. And you can actually drive across this bridge, down this 301 bridge right here, and you will actually see the labels of the GMO patents on the farmland. So what they'll do is they'll sell seed to this farm A. Farm A has to put up a license to grow, okay? And they grow it, they harvest it, they do exactly what they say by contract with the produce that comes from that planting. And then next year they have to buy another set of GMO seed from them. So you are not gonna see GMO seed on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
How GMO seed does enter our seed supply is by people going to the grocery store and purchasing produce off the shelf that is not organic and trying to grow from the seed of, let's say, peppers or even an orange. You know, like they're growing the seed from a plant that was originally a GMO. That's how we get those seeds floating around the community. So the other way we get GMOs in our seed stock is if somebody was to propagate, which means the same way that I was talking about growing the lettuce in the water. So somebody really actually could take that piece of lettuce, root it, stick it in dirt, harvest off of it, eat off it, you know, for a couple of weeks throughout the summer, and then let it go to seed when it gets too hot. And that seed would still be the GMO plant. Now they could replant that and it would continue to propagate a GMO plant. So that's how GMOs get into, it's by human error, not by them selling it. So you're not gonna see any GMO seeds on the shelf. What you will see is what is my research base. In the very, very beginning stages of it, but I'm enjoying every bit of it. So we have hybrids. Wait, I forgot, check for understanding. Is everybody following me on the GMO thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So now hybrids
Yes.
and cultivars. Okay, excellent. These you are gonna see. And the labeling on these can be very sneaky. So hybridization can occur by natural process or an intentional process. And there's also stable and unstable cultivars. So even in the use of the term heirloom, right? The seeds that we're purposely going out to hunt for, right? They can still be a cultivar, but it's a stable cultivar, meaning when it was crossbred with whatever it was crossbred for, or when it was selected for whatever it was selected for, it happened way back probably before the 1800s. And the environment that it is currently being raised in and has been raised in up from that time has accepted it and allowed it to continue to thrive. So basically nature kind of co-signed on it growing like that. So that would be what's considered a stable cultivar or a stable hybrid. Unstable ones are ones where you might throw some seed out like peppermint. You might get peppermint. You might get spearmint. You might get watercress. You never know. That's an unstable cultivar. So crossbreeding Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. I really don't know how to take it. It's, you know, some awesome things have come out of crossbreeding, but it is extremely common. And some of the beneficial uses are, you'll see actually on the seed packets, you'll see things like drought tolerant. You'll see things that have been selected for size or flavor or color, all kinds of things. People play in their gardens and they come up with creations for all kinds of reasons. You'll see a lot of it, especially with like tomatoes. When they have a name in quotes, that's a cultivar. Unless it says specific, even if it says heirloom and it's still in quotes, it's still a cultivar. They're everywhere. And if you follow Dr. Sebi does not agree with hybridization except under very specific, explicit circumstances. And it'd be a really basic garden if you stuck with a Sabian garden. Alkaline garden, you can still mess with hybrids that are stable. So if anybody is interested in digging into some of those seed types, please email me because that is one of my fun projects. So I'd appreciate the help on the research. And we're getting so close to time. Oh my gosh. This is what I wanted to explain to y'all folks. So one of the most common hybrids, cultivars, or crossbred plants is the brassica. That's most of what we grow. And it all started from one plant, the wild mustard plant. So what happened with the wild mustard plant is across time, different farmers and scientists decided they wanted to breed this wild mustard plant for specific qualities. So kohlrabi came from them breeding for the stem. So they found wild mustard plants that had a thickened stem that tended to concentrate a lot of their energy into the growth of the stem at a certain point in the growth process. And kohlrabi became interesting. Kale was bred for the leaves. So you have a short, thick stem and huge, prolific leaves. Broccoli is another cultivar. That was bred, wild mustard, bred for the flower buds and the stem. So you got a super thick stem and leaves that don't look like any other plant, right? Then you have Brussels sprouts. And if you notice also, these plants, as you go along this list, take longer to harvest. Kohlrabi is quick. Kale is a little less quick than kohlrabi, but kale sprouts up and just goes nuts whenever you feel like it. Broccoli, oh my gosh, takes like forever. You'll actually spend more time this summer harvesting leaves from a broccoli plant than broccoli. Brussels sprouts, they give you a nice bloom because they were bred for the leaf buds, but they take forever. And then you've got cabbage. It takes a long time for all of those cabbage leaves to grow and coalesce amongst each other. And then cauliflower was bred for the flower buds. So I don't know, maybe some of you remember I was talking about the seeds that I was trying to harvest from collards. Well, I accidentally crossbred them. So I can't call them heirloom this year. I can't call them heirloom ever again unless I start all over, because I didn't realize that my kale was flowering at the same time and they were both brassicas. So kale is a hybrid, but collards is an heirloom. So now I'm gonna have some kind of weird thing going on with kale allard, I guess. I don't know. Still gonna see what happens, but yeah. So, but with that growth cycle, with the collards and the kale, the last thing to develop before the plant just gives up and gives out is the flower bud. And if cauliflower was bred to produce a prolific flower bud, it's gonna take a long time to get to that stage. Because that's the last thing that the plant makes. In fact, with kale, you got 2 seasons before you get to the flowering stage. So you plant kale this year, you get all leaves. Next year, you get leaves and then flowers. So don't dig up your kale plant. Take it through the winter. They're really good, yummy winter greens.
Well, all right.
All right. So wait, hold on. Let me see what, because we're so late. We have so much information. I don't think we're gonna make it through all that. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. Do y'all want to keep going or do y'all want to stop here?
If we stop, does this continue next week?
Yeah, we'll just continue the same class next week. No additional any charge or anything like that.
Do we come back next week at 6:30?
Yep, same time, same station.
My person is cool for that.
Yeah, because I was writing everything down. It's going to take me a week to process. I'm slow.
Oh, no, you're not slow. I threw a lot of information. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. Y'all need this.
No, it was excellent. It's excellent. And I'm writing everything down and typing stuff on my laptop. But it's like, okay, I just hope I could go back and,
Yeah.
just go through it. So I say continue next week.
Okay. So I will most certainly be doing 2 things for you. Well, 3 things. So this same group, we're going to meet same time, same station next week. I'm also going to, after next week, I'm going to send you the slides. And then tonight, I will also be sending you guys out an email with a PDF document. Are you guys okay with opening PDF documents?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna be like the handy dandy thing you can take with you to the store that has the 2 labels on it and a couple of the keywords that we're looking for with stuff when we're shopping. Or it doesn't even have to be shopping. It could be like hunting in the community for, or asking a neighbor for, or looking around the house for.
Okay.
So check for that email tonight. Then we will continue this discussion next week, Thursday, same time, same place, same login. I'm not going to change anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then I will send you guys a recording after next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, because
Thank
I
you so
got
much.
like 12 more slides to go. I didn't realize the time went by so fast. Thank y'all for being like so awesome. Listening to me just ramble on.
Well, we
Y'all
look
have any
for-
questions before we get off with everything that we've gone through so far?
Would you repeat that?
I asked if there was any questions yet.
Oh, no, I think you've been very clear.
Not really a question. Well, I guess it's somewhat of a question, not about this, but it's just about maybe with those who may have to like get the soil and coconut core. For those who may be growing inside, maybe we can organize it. We can like split bags or something, because whether so we don't get too much or not enough. Maybe we could just somehow going through it. Just a thought, if that's possible. Like if maybe start a chat or something, who all needs the actual soil or who all needs the coconut coir, and based upon who all needs it, and how much they would need of it. Maybe some people may not need a whole bag, or based on the mix. So we just get an idea of how we can come together on getting things like this. So
I like that idea. So 2 parts of that. I think Facebook might be the easiest way to do that, but there are some people that's not on Facebook. So I'm a little stuck on that one, on how to coordinate that one to make it easy enough so that y'all can see who needs and who is able to share, spread around, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. My person thinking maybe Google Docs has something like that. If it's not, maybe an app on the website for forums or something like that.
Oh, I know what to use on the website.
Okay.
I got a form we could put on the website. I just got to figure out how to get it to post the responses. All right, I got you. I got work to do this week. Resource sharing.
Yeah, resource sharing, yeah. Uh-huh.
So to make sure, okay, so a person would need the person's name, contact, best way to contact, resource available or resource looking for.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So I can put that together. I'll put that together this week and I will send it out. And the Facebook group is just about ready to go live. I might end up doing that tonight. So y'all can start searching for it. It's going to be the same name, SOULar Soil Stewards. I just have to change the setting to make it so that y'all can find it. And the Google Doc. Okay, so I have my work cut out for me. All right. Anything else? Anyone? How is everyone as far as health, healing, feeling, motion, all that good stuff with everything that's going on?
We're well. We're working on making sure our immune systems are strong and we can survive anything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect us. But I do know that our environment is very toxic. We live in a very toxic environment, so it makes healing difficult. But, we have answers for that also.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna have you up here teaching the class in a minute. Keep talking like that. Yeah, someone's talk about you.
What'd you say?
I said I'm gonna have you up here teaching the class in a minute. You keep talking like that.
Oh, come on. No, we got a good teacher.
I got you though, but I'm glad to hear. I hope everybody else is well, even if you not ready to chime in. If there's something sitting on your spirit or your soul, I am praying for it to be eased. I pray for your comfort. I pray for your guidance. I pray for you.
Yes.
We received that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thank you.
That's it.
Yep.
Do us. All right, y'all. So I will see y'all next week.
Yes,
Check
indeed.
your
Okay.
emails.
Right on.
Even if you
Yes,
don't check,
best of it.
everybody that's on this tonight knows how to get back here next week, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, will it be the same?
I'm not changing anything.
All right. We're going to save this text then. Go back to the text. I don't
Yes.
get text.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining me. Thank
All
you.
right, one love.
One love, everyone.
Indeed. SOULar Soil Stewards in the house. Yep.
That's it.
So we can leave.
Tap and holiness.
Oh, now I can see everybody.
Ah, you got it. You got it.
When I turn off the screen share, I can see everybody.
Ah.
Next week, I'm gonna have to do something.
Yeah.